You know something I've learned? Sometimes the hardest part of safety isn't actually fixing the problems. The hardest part in safety is communicating with upper management so that you get the resources you need to fix the problems. Now, I wish that wasn't the case, but that's been my experience. In this episode, I'm going to talk with you about how you can communicate safety in a way that upper management buys in. So they support you, they give you the budget you need to prevent the accidents that will keep your place safe. And I share with you some stories for how I've helped managers get the budgets, the backing, and the resources they need so they're actually respected on the job. Let's dive in. Well, hey, friend, my name is David Sawyer. I'm a safety coach. I help busy managers prevent accidents and avoid OSHA. But more than that, I help new safety managers and people that are new to safety in general go from feeling overwhelmed to under control so that they feel like they can handle an OSHA inspection should it happen. Not that they want it to happen, but that they feel under control. And before I jump into today's episode, I want to share with you about my OSHA audit checklist. If you go to my website, Help with OSHA, you can access a free checklist that will show you everything you need to know in order to prepare your company for an unexpected OSHA visit. With this, there's a video that you get to watch, and I unpack the checklist. So it's not just a piece of paper you're looking at, but it actually walks you through what you should do to prepare your company for an OSHA audit. And it talks about the difference between compliance and safety management. And that's what I want to talk about today, because oftentimes the challenge a safety manager has is just simply communicating. You see, safety managers have a tendency to communicate in terms of compliance language, like this is the requirement, the OSHA standard says, we have to do this. And upper management tends to speak in business language, right? So there's a conflict. You got compliance language and you got business language. And the best thing that I could communicate to you is kick the compliance stuff out the door. It doesn't work. It's not effective. It doesn't make a difference. So you know what OSHA requires, and that's important, but that's not going to sell it when you're trying to get upper management to buy in. You see, upper management doesn't usually ignore safety. They just don't understand it. And so it's your job as a safety manager to communicate the importance of what needs to happen so that they understand it on a business level, not a compliance level. The truth is, a lot of people that own companies and are managers in companies, they don't want to be told what to do. They don't like it. They don't want a big brother coming in and telling them you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do this. That just, the wall goes up. And when the wall goes up, it is hard to open that conversation again. I want to tell you a quick story. I was in a plant a little while ago, and they had a very serious close call, where they had a bandsaw and one of the employees came, pun intended, about a finger length apart from being amputated. They came that close to losing a finger, and it scared everybody involved. Because it could have happened so incredibly fast. And through that process, I was working with a safety manager, and we were talking about what happened and what the training program is so people can use the bandsaw. We were talking about what the bandsaw was being used for and how to use it correctly and safety features of the bandsaw. And through this process, it became, we became aware that the bandsaw did not have a blade stop on the bandsaw, which a blade stop is a safety mechanism that will stop the blade instantaneously before somebody's finger's amputated. Well, I ran some numbers and I was trying to think, how do we communicate this to management? Because the blade stop feature cost roughly ballpark about $12,000. About $12,000 to install. Now, that's a lot, especially if you have more than one bandsaw, right? You go, woo, $12,000? That's a lot. Now, this was a special type of equipment, so this would have been a safety feature that would have been added on, and that's one of the reasons it costs so much. But it would essentially eliminate the threat of an amputation. So found out the cost, immediately was like, whew, man, that's steep, that's heavy. Okay. But then you start thinking, wait a minute, how much does it cost total compensation for an employee to lose one or two or three fingers? Now, when we talk like that, we go, okay, that's going to cost a lot of medical bills. It's going to cost workers' compensation. Insurance probably will go up. It's going to cost morale terrible. That's going to hurt. Everybody's going to hate that. Everybody's going to cringe at that. Not to mention the amount of money that's going to be spent on the investigation, OSHA fines, settlements with the employees. And when I punched this in and was figuring all this up, it gave me a range. It gave me a big range. And I drilled it down and I said, I want an average for what the cost is for one finger that's lost. Total compensation, everything being taken into consideration. And for one finger, the number, the $119,000. Now you can see on my card there, I've got $12,000 and I got $119,000. When I look at that, it becomes really simple. $12,000 is a lot of money. It is nothing compared to the overall cost of somebody losing a finger. Now, picture they lost 2, 3, 4 fingers. Picture that happened more than once in a year. I mean, you're talking just devastating. Devastating. Now, something I wanted to point out. Is that a lot? Yes, it's a lot. But how do we get management to buy in to this change? You got to use a framework here, okay? So I wanted to break this down into a simple little thing. One, you got to frame safety as an investment, not an expense. Because what we're doing is we're investing $12,000 and we're going to save, what does that come out to? $106,000, is that right? $117,000 or $107,000. Trying to do the math quick in my head. So you're spending the money, but it's actually an investment. It's an investment that's going to save you over $100,000. You see the way I did that? This is an investment that's going to save you over $100,000 because it's well worth it. On top of that, after you frame it as an investment, you can see when I'm talking to management, I'm using data, not drama. That's a big one. That is a big one. Write that one down. Use data, not drama. You see, do I want somebody to be hurt? No, absolutely not. Especially when I know the person, I know their family, I know their kids, I know, oh man, it'll tug at your heartstrings, especially if it is a female. It's one thing when a guy gets hurt on the job, but when you have a woman that gets her fingers cut off in a terrible workplace accident, oh man, it hits harder. So it's important to know I'm using data. I'm using the numbers that we're talking about here. $12,000 versus $119,000. Now, do they care about the person? Absolutely. But from a business standpoint, they want to know the data. They don't want to know the drama. They want to know the numbers. They don't want to know the emotions of it. So present it with data. And then the third thing, this is clever too. The third thing is you want to allow input. You're seeking their input. You're not seeking their approval. You want to get upper management involved in safety before you need them. Hear me out. You want to get the owner of the company, the GM of the company, the person in a leadership position, you want their input to shape what you do when it comes to the safety program. And by saying, hey, I need your input on this. We have this challenge. We're facing this type of situation. You're not asking for money. You are simply explaining, this is where we are. I really value your opinion on this. I'm looking for your input. So if safety could make production easier, what would that look like to you? Oh, that's a golden question. Asking that question to a production manager, hey, if safety could make production easier, what would that look like? And they'll tell you. They know exactly where the hang-up is. And if you can streamline the process, boom, we saved it. Going back to my example with the bandsaw, if we have a situation where the equipment, it can be made safer and it can be made more efficient, adding technology to equipment usually makes it more efficient. So that's an important part of it. Simply saying, like I said earlier, saying somebody could get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. That's using drama. We want to use data. We want to use specifics. We want to use pictures. Pictures make a big difference when we're showing where we are now to where we want to be. Having that clarified is really, really important. So when you're talking like a business partner and not like a compliance cop, you are much more likely to get buy-in. So let me break down the framework one more time. Think for a second. Frame safety as an investment, not a cost. Use data, not drama. And you're seeking for input, not approval. Approval will come down the road. Right now, we just want to get some input. We value your input. We want to get your information because that way they will have more buy-in when the decision has to be made. It'll be a lot smoother process than if you blindside them and go, hey, we got to buy 4 bandsaws with this safety feature. It's going to cost over $50,000. Well, that's a cost, not an investment. If we say, hey, we want to invest in this safety equipment, it's going to end up saving us over $100,000. Well, hey, my ears just perked up. It's going to help me save money. I like that. So keep all that in mind. Upper management can be a challenge. What I always remember is they're not bad people. They don't want anybody to get hurt. You know they don't. It's just they don't understand where you're coming from. And on top of that, they don't like being told what to do. And I can relate because I feel the same way. I can't stand when somebody tells me, you have to do this. Immediately I go, I don't have to do nothing. Keep that in mind. So frame things in terms of business, not in terms of compliance. If you found this helpful, I got to say, you would probably really enjoy my stress-free safety group. This is a group that I have put together with safety managers. You can go to my website, helpwithosha.com. There's a masterclass that's actually in the top right-hand corner. You can click and watch a masterclass where I explain the stress-free safety group and what it looks like and how it works. It would be something you would be interested in. So check that out. And until we talk again, do everything you can to keep the people you work with safe, because no one should get hurt at work.